Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Folks, if you've watched this channel at all, you know that we have said many times that this is one of the greatest historical failures in terms of box office flops in the history of cinema, not just for Disney. It is Kathleen Kennedy's chaos that she has bestowed upon the industry, in which Indiana Jones 5 lost hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. But now the media, well, they're back. And they are telling us all that Indy is a streaming success, king of the mountain when it comes to pvod. What does it mean? We're going to tell you right now. All right, folks, welcome back to another video explaining entertainment and keeping you ahead of the culture curve. Someone who helps us do that is Jonas J. Campbell, investigative reporter for ThatParkPlace.com. Jonas, welcome back.
Hey, good to be here. My goodness, I thought we were done talking about Indiana Jones, but here he is. They keep pulling him back
again. He's back again. I thought the next time we would talk about him was with the Snow White movie. She now, of course, a independent socialist woman in the 1800s or 1700s of Germany. We won't get into why he would want to fight Snow White, but folks, as we get into this one, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and click it. Stick it to the algorithm. It's the notification bell. Folks, if you're not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? Here we go. IndieWire. Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny is the unanimous #1 on VOD charts. This by Tom Brueggemann. Gotta love Brueggemann. Sony's little scene, May rom-com, Love Again, replaces Adam Sandler at the top of the Netflix charts, though. Nice subtitle. All right, 4. An unusually high number. Recent studio theatrical releases added pvod. Home availability over the last week. No question which among them scored best. Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny took the #1 slot on all charts. Of course, what we're talking about here, people, is video on demand. That's the folks out there who are downloading this onto their hard drives somewhere, some way, so that they can watch Indy in all of his geriatric glory. Consumer options vary among the titles. Indiana Jones can immediately be digitally downloaded for $20. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem by Paramount is $20 for a 48-hour rental. And The Last Voyage of Demeter? What is this, Jonas? How do I say this?
That's the Dracula Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Demeter. Never put out a title that people can't pronounce. $25. And Boogeyman, $15. Jonas, there's a sad thing though about this Indy situation. This is a glass half full, glass half empty kind of situation. There's good news, there's bad news. Good news is it's #1 for the time being in its first week out there. The bad news is, Jonas, tell us how many people would need to download Indiana Jones in order to get it to break even.
Well, the ballpark figures, because we don't yet know exactly how much they spent making this movie, and we will never know how much they spent marketing it. The estimates between us and Valiant Renegade are that they are about $250 million in the hole right now on this film, not counting these pvod sales. If they need to make $250 million, if they were receiving every single dollar of those $20, which they're not, they would need to sell 12,500,000 units, 12.5 million units of this movie. Now, if they're doing it on like Amazon or if they're selling on iTunes, they probably take home closer to 70% of that. So the quick math at $14, we're talking almost 19 million units. And that wouldn't even account for distributors taking a cut or anyone else involved in this process that might be taking money out away from Disney.
So let's say that again, though, Jonas. That is something you just said. You're saying that this would need to be downloaded 19 million times. That's how far this is in the hole. It needs to be downloaded and paid for.
18 million at least. 19, not counting for all of those little things that we will never know all those numbers that they're taking out their piece on the way down. So greater than 18 million.
Okay, so greater than 18 million. Now, the way we're coming about that is that we know that Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny had a production budget and post-production budget, but had a production budget of $337 million minimum, if I recall correctly. We don't know how much farther that went up, but $337 minimum. Then we know that the marketing side of this has got to be at least $100 million. That seems epically low, but that still gets you across about the 450 mark, and 450 times 2 is $900 million. We think that is the bare minimum break-even point for this film. It came nowhere close. Now, Jonas, if we were to say that it needs to be downloaded 18 million times in order to get to the break-even point, let's just play with the numbers for a moment and think about how huge that would be in terms of a streaming show and the success that it would have. Let's say that
let's compare it to a recent one. How about the 1.2, what is it, 1.4 or 1.2 million that Samba TV is saying for Ahsoka? Or the
right, it would need to pull 19 times more than Ahsoka.
Yeah, or 14 million views, as Disney suspiciously put forward as the number of views on Ahsoka. Now, of course, we'd never go with that because there's no assumptions there. For this $20 would be assumingly per household as opposed to per view. So yeah, that is a ridiculous number of people that would have to be more interested in the factor of even 10 times more interested than they are in Ahsoka. They have to
and willing to pay,
yes,
as opposed to Ahsoka, which is free. Now, Jonas, I've run the numbers too while you've been chatting about that. Here's what I'm looking at. If Indy were to garner enough interest and payment to reach break even off streaming alone, which is not going to happen, but if it were, then we would see something out of Nielsen on the paid side of things, which I don't know that Nielsen tracks this at all. But this thing would need to get 3.8 billion minutes of watch time in order for it to even come close to break even. Just to give people an idea of what we're talking about in terms of how insane this would be.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, this would put it as being more popular than Wednesday. This would make it be more popular than Stranger Things. I don't think that Indy's doing that, but I congratulate Lucasfilm and the folks behind Indiana Jones for being number one on PVOD for a week. We don't think it's doing enough to get them to the finish line, but it's doing okay. Fair enough, Jonas?
Yeah. That's there's also, of course, that downside there is when no one goes to see your movie in theaters, it presumably lends to the idea that if people were waiting to see it on streaming, that'll add to your PVOD sales and eventually your streaming numbers. I think we probably saw that with Black Panther Wakanda Forever, where there was a buildup of people who were waiting to see it on streaming. So that elusive, oh, well, people have been trained to watch it at home. Yeah, there is something to that. I don't think it's enough that it cost them this much money, that it's only that they were thinking they'll see it on streaming.
Absolutely. Now, there might be those out there listening who are saying, oh my gosh, these guys are just absolutely so black-pilled. They won't even just say, great job, Indy. You got a week of good news. Good job, Indy. Well, folks, I'm here to tell you that the reason that we had to set this video up this way, and this news was all breaking earlier, and so we kind of did a quick impromptu, hey, we got to make this video real quick. But the reason we're presenting it this way is because the media, we suspect, will now perhaps shill a little bit for Disney. We suspect that they're going to present a narrative as if Indiana Jones is successful, when in fact we know it's not. We're here to give it a high five for 1 week of great streaming numbers. Fantastic. But we're not here to completely fool you or go along with a narrative that's false, that this makes Indiana Jones the Dial of Destiny anything better than being the worst possible outcome for a film that you could imagine. I mean, this is a historic flop still, and it's going to be after this week. And we're not saying that to be mean. We're saying that because it's the truth. It's honest. And we hate it for Harrison Ford. We hate it for John Williams. We would have liked for them to have gone out with major financial success, and we wish them all the best. But this is the situation. Now, let's take a look at ScreenRant, and I'm going to show you how the media is going to spin this. And we mean no offense to Madeline Murphy down here as the author, but here's what we've got, and we're going to pick this apart. So just know, and that's why we came into this video the way we did, because we're trying to be truthful, even though it is slightly negative. Have to be truthful. Indiana Jones 5 tops VOD charts after Dial of Destiny lost Disney $100 million at the box office. Well, first of all, that's a false number. So even in the title, it didn't lose $100 million. It lost a lot more.
Well, it did lose $100. It definitely did lose $100 million. It just also lost a lot more.
Another $100 million, and perhaps another. Yes, exactly. This 100 million, we debunked this several weeks ago in a video and told exactly where this was coming from. I don't recall at the moment where they had found this 100 million mark, but it was out of something where you looked and went, oh my gosh, they don't understand how the numbers work. And then everybody ran with it. All right, so let's get into this. Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny has achieved one impressive VOD streaming milestone amid setbacks at the box office. The James Mangold movie marks the fifth and final Indiana Jones installment, which sees Harrison Ford, reprised adventuresome archaeologist, yada, yada, yada. According to IndieWire, of the 4 titles that added premium video on-demand availabilities the week of August 28th, Indy took first place on 3 VOD charts, and the other movies releasing premium: Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Last Voyage, Boogeyman. Notably, only Indiana Jones 5 appeared on Google's Play's top 10. Here's where we get into, I think, the narrative a bit. All right. Indy's first on-screen appearance came with Steven Spielberg's Raiders of the Lost Ark, yada, yada, yada. While the original made over $350 worldwide, that's talking about millions at the box office, the most recent has not found the same success. By the way, you adjust that for inflation, it's even more embarrassing. It's really, really bad. According to one report, Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny lost Disney $100 million at the box office. Yes, and well, that's not the correct report. How's that for you? Some factors for its box office failure range from the movie's expensive $295 million budget. It didn't cost $295, folks.
It did not cost $295 million. We can confirm that as of April 1st of 2022, they had at least spent $303.
Yeah, we've got Jonas. We don't say too much about this, but we've got some stuff. Valiant Renegade has some stuff. Stuff's going to come out soon.
Yes,
is that fair to say?
Absolutely. Oh, right. I'm so excited.
I bet you are, Jonas. All right, folks, you'll understand why later. Trust us. The phenomenon Barbenheimer. Here's where we get into just this is ludicrous. The phenomenon Barbenheimer was likely another hurdle curbing Indiana Jones' success.
Curb stomping.
$1 billion Barbie shattered multiple records since its release, such as Greta Gerwig having the highest grossing opening weekend for a movie solely directed by a woman. Now that's a record. On the other hand, Oppenheimer got $852 million worldwide at the box office. Therefore, stiff competition during the summer movie season played a role in Indiana Jones 5's box office outcomes. Its movies, such as Mission Impossible 7, faced similar setbacks. Jonas, did Barbenheimer have any impact whatsoever on the failure of Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny?
No, it did not. I would say that Mission Impossible probably had the most impact, and then Barbenheimer derailed Mission Impossible.
But, I mean, this thing opened out of the gate. This was like at the Kentucky Derby if the horse just sort of laid down out of the gate.
And we haven't had follow-up from our source yet, but Disney was confident that things are going to turn around. Things are going to actually, you know what movie killed this one in theaters? Now that I think about it, now that I remember, it was Sound of Freedom. Sound of Freedom came in and obliterated any chance of Indiana Jones winning that weekend, that long holiday July 4th weekend. Sound of Freedom.
You don't see that on ScreenRant, eh?
Yeah, good point.
Despite its box office obstacles, this recent VOD data suggests that Indiana Jones: The Dial of Destiny could gain some traction through streaming. Moreover, with the 5th installment not yet on Disney+, the movie's eventual inclusion on the platform could help it gather attention as well. In any case, achieving the #1 spot on 3 platforms is a significant milestone for the movie, especially to seek redemption. And folks, this is why we started this video the way that we did. Could this film manage to gain redemption, which would, by the way, be it breaks even and doesn't cost money to Disney? Could it get redemption? Oh, sure. Oh, sure. But it would need unprecedented viewership, enthusiasm, the likes of which we have not seen for any entity out there. And it would need to do that. I mean, it would just need to become the hottest thing on the planet to make this worthwhile. Jonas, is that going to happen?
No, I don't think that has no traction at all at this point. Nobody's talking about it on social media. I just don't see it happening unless the boomers are saying, you know what? Now is the time. I'm definitely going to watch this movie right now. I'm going to log in. And what's Vudu? What's Hulu? What's an iTunes? I don't know what those are. Never mind.
You don't think that Phoebe's a phenom now?
No, I don't think she has the appeal to the segment that they want to be showing up for Harrison Ford at his current age, which, by the way, much respect to Harrison Ford. He's amazing. And he's the best thing that Disney has right now for the MCU. So we love him.
Good Lord. Well, Harrison Ford, I saw, I was looking through the news, getting ready for this video. He was taking a photo with a fan somewhere. And, he was being very kind to that fan. And all respect to Harrison Ford. I hate that we have to present these videos this way. But, folks, when the narrative out there is already beginning to change such that it would confuse people and lead them with. I don't want to say that ScreenRant is purposefully being mistruthful here, but there's no way you're reading that article and coming away with the truth. The truth is, this is a historic flop. It is the #1 show or movie on streaming right now in terms of paid video on demand, and we're happy for it. That's good. But that is a very small win in comparison to what happened here. This should have never happened to the Indiana Jones franchise. And that, folks, if you take away any kind of message from us here, it's not a black pill message. It's not a message where we're trying to be mean or harsh to Harrison Ford or any of the people who worked on this movie. What we're trying to say is this should have never happened to this franchise. This was one of the most popular franchises on the planet through the first 3 films. This was one of the most popular action heroes of all time. This franchise was mismanaged. The people at the top mismanaged it. And if the best that they have is that when it debuts on streaming, it's #1 on paid video on demand, it was #1 at the box office for its first week too. And that didn't do it. That did not do it. It's a historic flop. Jonas, final thoughts before we put this one to bed. I think maybe this is the last Indiana Jones video we do for a while. Who knows?
I suppose it does beg the question if Star Wars is in the shape it's in, and Willow has been literally pulled off of Disney Plus, and Indiana Jones is here. The franchise is smothered in this way. What's up with Kathleen Kennedy?
What's up with Kathy? I think that's a fair thing to ask. And to all of you out there writing articles, if you're watching this video, listen, it's very cool to celebrate this. Let's just not go into crazy territory where we suggest that it's being redeemed by this. This is a film that lost hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, which is, well, in the industry called no bueno. Jonas, where can people find you on this great, big, beautiful web?
Well, you can find me here on this channel on the Pro Show, Thursdays, 5 to 7 p.m., or on my channel, where I like to go through everything woke, specifically in children's entertainment, so that I can let the parents know what's going on there. Or next week, we'll be starting up That Park Place, the channel where you can get updated very quickly on a variety of subjects in entertainment, theme parks, and streaming. So I think everybody is going to really enjoy what we have there. And it's going to be a fun thing for me to get out there and maybe do some things without all the baggage of appearing on the Pro Show and the Pro channel. Just me and whoever.
Baggage, you say?
I'm really looking forward to it.
We've been talking about this, folks, for a long time now, talking about That Park Place launching on YouTube. ThatParkPlace.com is doing phenomenally well. We just found out the numbers on its growth, and we're so thankful for all of you who go check that out and bookmark that in your browser. And now it's going to be on YouTube. Jonas is leading that effort, and we truly are building a news network now. It's something that, not many of us thought we would ever be doing, but it's something necessary, I think, is building a news network that covers all the news that should be fun in a truthful way. And I think that's what we've tried to do in this video today. But yeah, it's going to be something awesome, and we can't wait to bring it to you next week. That's when we debut with That Park Place on YouTube. If you're not yet subscribed, go ahead and do that. Folks, we hope we handled this topic as well as we possibly could. We want to give a high five to Harrison and say congratulations for being #1 on streaming. It's a fantastic thing to do, especially at his age. And at the same time, we really can't stomach the mistruths of the media when they put out stuff that kind of misleads, even though they may not be doing it intentionally. They could be, fooled by these numbers as well. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, not a success. But for this 1 week, we'll give it a high five to and say, go get him, Harrison. We're happy that he did it. Well, folks, if you're happy about this video, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and when you click it, you stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Were we too harsh? Were we not enough? Do you think we should have hammered home just what a failure Kathleen Kennedy is? It's those comments you drop down that give us the feedback that let us know where should we aim in the future. And folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Pro! I've done it all! I've subscribed to That Park Place. I've subscribed to the WDW Pro channel. I even go to thatparkplace.com for great articles. I ask in all humility, will you show me your face?
Wilton, if I were to do that, I'd have to kill you. I give you lots of opportunities. You should trust me. But You know what? I will let you see the back of WDW Pro's shirt.
Well, I can generally say I did not see that one coming.